Jack lived in a quiet village surrounded by endless fields and dusty roads that glowed gold every evening. The village was small, the kind where every word travels faster than the wind. People there knew everything about each other, who was struggling, who was prospering, and who was merely pretending. Jack wasn't poor, but he wasn't content. He worked at a nearby farm, spending his days repairing fences, lifting heavy sacks of grain, and coming home exhausted. Yet, deep inside, he carried a quiet hunger, a longing to do something bigger than routine. He wasn't chasing money or recognition. What he wanted was to build a stronger version of himself, disciplined, sharp, and dependable. One evening, as he sat outside his small wooden house watching the sunset fade over the fields, Jack made a promise to himself. From tomorrow, he whispered, I will change my life. I'll become someone my future self will thank me for. He planned everything carefully. He would rise before dawn every day, run through the cold misty fields, then spend time learning new things after work. He would save part of his earnings, eat simply, and focus on growing in silence. It was a plan made from sincerity, the kind of plan that could transform a person's life. But Jack made one mistake. The next morning at the tea stall, while talking to his friends, he casually mentioned his plan. I've decided to change my habits, he said with a smile. I'll start running early, working harder, and studying every night. You'll see a new Jack soon. His friends laughed, not out of malice, but disbelief. Jack, come on, one said. You can't wake up that early. The fields are cold before sunrise. Another joked, you? Study after a whole day of labor? You'll fall asleep before you open a page. Jack smiled awkwardly and shrugged it off. But deep down, a small doubt was planted. Still, he started strong. The first week, he woke up before dawn, ran through the fog, and felt alive. He studied by the dim light of an old lamp, writing small notes in a worn-out notebook. He even started saving money, coins stacked neatly in a glass jar. But the village didn't stay silent. Gossip travels fast in small places. Some said, Jack thinks he's better than us. Others mocked, he's training for what? To outrun his shadow. The teasing was constant, the laughter echoing each time he walked past. At first, Jack ignored it. He kept running. But slowly, the laughter began to echo inside his head. One morning, a neighbor called out, Why are you torturing yourself, Jack? No one changes here. You'll tire out soon. That sentence stuck like a thorn. Within weeks, Jack began missing his runs. Some days he woke up late, convincing himself he'd make up for it tomorrow. Nights of study turned into nights of chatter with friends. The jar of savings grew dusty. His plan was fading, not because it failed, but because he shared it with people who didn't want to see it succeed. When everyone knows your dream, it becomes their playground. Months passed. Jack returned to his old routine, half content, half disappointed. The villagers stopped talking about his plan. Life went back to its slow rhythm. But one night, while walking back home under the stars, Jack passed the old tree near the fields, the same path he once ran every morning. He stopped. The air was cool, the world quiet. He felt a sharp ache inside, the ache of giving up on himself. He realized something powerful that night. His plan hadn't failed, his silence had. He had spoken too soon. He had let people's doubts rewrite his own belief. Jack reached home, found the old notebook he once used, and flipped it open. The first page still carried his promise, become someone your future self will thank you for. He smiled, tore the payout, and pinned it on the wall. This time, he decided there would be no announcements, no sharing, no explanations. The next morning, while the village slept, Jack quietly began again. He didn't tell a soul. He ran when no one watched. He read when no one listened. He worked with sharper focus and saved with steady patience. His progress was slow, silent, but consistent. Discipline became his companion. Each morning he added a small victory, one that no one could take from him. A completed run, a new page read, another coin in the jar. He didn't chase motivation anymore. He relied on structure. The village didn't notice his change at first. They only saw a quieter man who smiled less and worked more. He no longer joined late-night talks or wasted time explaining what he was doing. When asked, he simply said, "Just working." Silence became his armor. Over the months, that silence built strength. His runs grew longer. His knowledge deepened. His savings quietly multiplied. What once seemed impossible now felt natural. And without realizing it, Jack had become everything he once promised himself: disciplined, strong, and calm. A year passed. One bright morning, the village gathered for the harvest celebration. Everyone was cheerful, music filled the air, and laughter echoed. Jack joined in, wearing a faint smile. As he lifted heavy crates of grain with ease, someone whispered, "Look at Jack, he has changed so much." Another said, "Didn't he give up on that plan long ago?" Jack overheard them but said nothing. He simply smiled and continued working. They didn't know, he hadn't given up, he had just learned to work in silence. Later that day, an old man from the village approached him. "Jack," he said kindly, "you've become a different man this year. Stronger. Wiser. What did you do?" Jack looked out toward the fields, now golden and ripe. "I stopped talking," he said softly, "and started doing." The old man nodded, understanding more than Jack's few words could explain. From that day on, Jack became a quiet example of what true consistency looks like. No noise, no applause, just daily effort stacked carefully, like bricks building a house no one knew existed until it stood tall. Years later, when younger men in the village asked him for advice, Jack would only say one thing: if you have a plan, guard it. Work on it until it's unbreakable. Don't let the world handle what's still growing inside you. He had learned that silence doesn't mean secrecy, it means protection. It means giving your dreams a chance to grow strong roots before the wind of opinions can uproot them. Jack's journey became quiet proof that success is built, not spoken. The people who once laughed now respected him. They never knew when he changed, because change happens quietly, behind closed doors, long before the world sees results. He didn't need to tell anyone his plan anymore. His life spoke louder than any words could. Moral of the story: never announce your dreams before they're ready. The world doesn't need your plans, it needs your proof. Real growth happens when you work in silence, stay consistent, and let discipline turn your promise into power. Speak less, do more, and one day, your results will make the noise for you.